Hey everybody, this is TotalGamerJunkie. I want to welcome you all back to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to be going over the minor inconsistencies and continuity errors that happen in Life is Strange Before the Storm. Now, honestly, whether you like or hate the game, everyone has their own opinion. I for one I for one love the game, but I did have some problems with it. Like how, for example, Rachel was betrayed, where she was completely different from how she was explained in Life is Strange. But, nevertheless, I did enjoy the game. It's just, I wish we could have seen a negative side of her, because, as you all know, she cheated on Chloe with Frank and possibly Mark Jefferson. But, the game focuses on her and how we see her as a victim, where she's a manipulator. But, nevertheless, I really did enjoy the game, and I wouldn't mind a sequel. So whether or not you loved or hated Before the Storm, I hope you enjoy this video I'm making. Alright, now let's get started. So the first inconsistency I want to go over is the pirate hat and eye patch that Max and Chloe have. Now, if you remember in that photo from Life is Strange 1, where Max has the, what do you call it? And you wouldn't be able to miss it because it's so out of place. So it's where Max wears an eye patch and Chloe has a pirate hat. Now this photo alone is an inconsistency because, as you all know, if you compare what Max and Chloe look like at age 13 to this, that's a pretty, mistake. Now I'm willing to accept that as a minor mistake, as it doesn't really damage the story for me. This is just, I can picture this as a photo that they were making, and it was a mistake, because the ages, Chloe and Max look like their 18 and 19-year-old self, whereas this was supposed to be when they were 13 and 14. So that's one mistake right there. Now, continuing on with the other one involving the pirate hat and the eye patch. In Before the Storm, you can find the pirate hat inside Chloe's bedroom, and you can see it's hanging on the top of a mirror, but the shape is a bit inconsistent. It's a little different. Like, if you take a look at the hat, for example, you can see how the top parts of it are curved differently, and the bottom shape as well is a little different. Not to mention, there's a bit of yellow lining on top of the hat in Before the Storm, but in the photo of Life is Strange 1 that you can find, the yellow line isn't there. Now, the reason for this, I was looking up why this was, because I thought it was just oversight on Deck 9's part, but I think it had something to do with the artistic license or different visual style. I'm not too sure. I don't know much about that, but I was checking up on this information, and I believe that is one of them, but I'm not too sure, so don't take my word on it. Now, the next inconsistency is a photo that is in Life is Strange Before the Storm. Now, in episode 1, this is after Chloe sees that band Firewatch, or Firewalker? No, it was Firewatch. Was it? Yeah, it was fun. I'm being inconsistent now. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but it's after the band happens. So this is before she can leave the house to go help David. You can find a photo hanging on her dining room wall. It's an old family photo, and she'll say, "Family pic used to hang here. I can't actually remember which one." In the first Life is Strange, when Chloe's 14 and you're playing as Max, this is during episode 3 when Max uses her powers to go back in time. You can find a family photo hanging where that is, and you can see that it's in the shape of a square. But in Before the Storm, the interactive text displays it as a discolored square, when the square is meant to be rectangled. So this is where it gets confusing. So it really should be, for visual consistency, it needs to say discolored rectangle, or if it wants to be consistent with the original game, the discoloration should be a square, so it should go discolored square. So when Chloe goes to the garage, like this is when David needs you to be getting the tools, she also makes a comment on one of the pictures, and it's a picture that showed Joyce and William, and I believe it's during their wedding, and they're shoving cakes into each other's mouth. And this isn't the one that was hanging up, but it apparently is meant to be what the picture frame is meant to be, which is confusing. This because, you know, like if you go back to this place, you should be able to see the image. If you go and take a look at it when Max is a kid, this is at the end of episode 3, where she travels back in time. If you have a look at that photo and you match it up with this image, it's going to be very different. I wouldn't say very, but you'll notice the difference in it. So the next inconsistency is Max's phone. Now, I believe... Max's phone, what am I saying? That's an inconsistency right there. No, it's Chloe's phone. So, I don't know if any of you remember, but in Life is Strange, Max and Chloe decorated a phone when they were kids. This was before William died, of course. And you can find it in episode 1 when you're at Chloe's house. Pardon me. When you're at Chloe's house, you can find it when looking through the drawers. You can also re-find it in episode 3, or find it for your first time in episode 3 if you weren't looking around Chloe's room in episode 1. So the thing about the phone is it is very different from the one that she has. So the phone in Before the Storm has more scratches, and you can see there's a bit of wear and tear on it, but in Chaos Theory, you can notice, like, from Life is Strange, you can notice there are a few stickers that, I'm getting tongue-tied here, you can notice a few stickers are missing, but in Before the Storm, like, the stickers aren't missing. Like for example, there is a chicken sticker, but that sticker doesn't look the same. It looks completely different. You should be seeing the images right now. And you can see how different they are. Now, I wouldn't say this is this isn't a major problem, but for die-hard people, then yeah, I can understand how this can be a major problem for you. Alright, moving on. Alright, for the next inconsistency, who here remembers Captain Chloe Bluebeard? Now, this was the name that Chloe had when she was a pirate, and Max also had the name Long Max Silver. Now, in the dining room downstairs in Chloe's house, you can read the back of a photo of her and Max when they're dressed as pirates, and it says Captain Chloe Bluebeard, Scourge of Arcadia, and her first mate Long Max Silver. Okay, so what's inconsistent about that? One of the things that's inconsistent is Chloe puts in her journal, Captain Chloe Bluebeard, Scourge of Arcadia Bay. You know, that's what she signs her journal as. But in Life is Strange Season 1, when Max finds the bottles in the junkyard, she says, now I can deliver these bottles to Captain Chloe. Which is... Now, I'm willing to... I guess I can accept this, because what if Max didn't call her Captain Bluebeard, but Captain Chloe? Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure in the farewell episode, Chloe addresses herself as Captain Bluebeard. But, so it's weird how Max would forget that, you know? But it's not a major inconsistency, but, you know. Hell, this video will probably contain major inconsistencies. Yeah, here's a fun thing. If any of you want to point out my major inconsistencies when making this video, you go right ahead. Alright, so... excuse me. This next part here, you can find Life is Strange magazine covers in Before the Storm. And what's weird about this is Life is Strange 1, Life is Strange Season 1, or whatever you want to call it, is set in 2013. Before the Storm is set 3 years before, which is 2010. So I gotta say, it's pretty weird that that Deck 9 is reusing Dotnoid assets in this game, because you can tell that there are some new posters and assets that have been created for episode 1. So, and a lot of other assets such as newspapers and that. So I gotta say, it's strange that you can find the 2013 magazine covers in 2010. Now, this might have just been, okay, we're just gonna place this here, because the magazine covers don't really affect the story. Is it an inconsistency? Yes, but it's not a big issue, it's not a problem. But I suppose you can chalk it down as to Max fucking around with time again. Like, maybe she ended up leaving something in the past? I don't know, there's an infinite number of timelines, infinite number of possibilities, so who's to say? So for this next inconsistency, we're going to have to go to a place that is every Life is Strange fan's nightmare. The Dark Room. Now, at the very end of Life is Strange Before the Storm, episode 3, we get a glimpse of the Dark Room. Now, we don't get to see much, but we do see, we hear a camera being clicked, and we see the flash a little, and it zooms on to Rachel's phone. And you can see that Chloe's calling, and there's 17 missed calls. Now, this here, I guess if you want to call it a major problem, a major inconsistency, you can. But, like, I don't know, I'm a little conflicted on this one, so let me know your opinion. So, when Max tries to use the phone to call, in episode 5, this is when she tries to call Warren. She discovers that she can't call, because there's no cell reception. And the reason there's no cell reception is because the bunker is underground. And due to the thickness of its walls, there's obviously no cell signal, because, you know, the further underground you go, like, even when you go through a tunnel when you're driving, you can lose your cell reception. So whether or not this is a major continuity error or not. Now, let me know if you think this is a major or minor continuity error, because there is a plausible explanation for this. So one of them is that Jefferson installed signal jammers inside the dark room after Rachel Amber's death. And another theory is that the reason Max couldn't call Warren was because the storm, as you all know, the storm was happening. And I guess you can argue that the storm was interfering with the signal. And then I guess if you wanted to go like an uninteresting way, you can say Rachel was using a different cell provider, had a different plan. You know, like, whatever. So let me know what you think about this one. And speaking of major inconsistencies, I suppose you could say that this is one too. Remember that ending where Rachel and Chloe are getting photos in the photo booth? In the black and white photographs, you can notice that Rachel has 2 earrings instead of 1. So what is with this? Rachel only wears 1, and this is implied in the story, even in the comic, for example, the one that, you know, people don't like or love, or whatever your opinion is. Because speaking of the comics, by the way, once they come back, I'm going to continue reading them, so don't worry. Getting back on topic here, Rachel has always worn her feather earring in her left ear in Before the Storm, and you can even see photographs of her. This is, if you go back to Life is Strange episode 1, you can find a photo of her with Chloe, and they're flipping off the camera, and you can see Rachel has the earring in her left ear. But here, in the black and white pictures, she has 2 earrings. So that is a big mistake. And speaking of mistakes, in the Life is Strange comic series, when you start volume 2, or issues 5 to 8, you can notice that, like, well, you don't even need to go that far. At the end of issue 4, like, when Rachel appears in the comic series, she has her feather earring in her right ear, which is, this is either, you can either consider this as an inconsistency or an alternate timeline, because she is different from the Rachel in Max's timeline. So I think that's pretty funny how they put, to show how different she is, they make her wear her earring on the opposite ear. Although this could just be a mistake on their part. So yeah, let's move on. Sorry guys, this is the future TotalGamerJunkie here. There's been a little problem with the rest of the video. I have to, I want to try to get that fixed. If not, I have to redo it. But there was just some problem with my mic and the audio. It's just making this loud pitch type sound. So I'm gonna have to end the video here. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this first part. I wanted it to be a full video, but I guess it's gonna just have to be a part video, or part 1. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. This is TotalGamerJunkie, signing off.